What's going on, everyone? What an absolute dump truck the Raiders are. I'm sorry, as somebody that lives in Vegas, that was an embarrassing display. You were dominated, winning that whole game. First half, it looks like you were going to run away with it. And you scored 3 points in the second half and allow the Cardinals to come back and beat you. They get two two-point conversions. I mean, what can you say to that? These Raiders, they had it. They were going down the field. All they needed to do was kick a field goal, protect the ball, hold on to the ball. You fumble the ball twice. Second time you fumble it, Cardinals return it for a touchdown to beat you. That is I mean, seriously, come on. That is an embarrassing display. I mean, these Raiders are terrible. You have all of these offensive weapons. The defense has always been a question, but they got some key components, stuff like that. You know, people thought they'd be pretty decent, right? Derek Carr, you had a first terrible week 1. All right, you need the bounce back game. Come out, you're bouncing back. Everything's looking good. I mean, even the commentators are talking about how, like, this game is just not looking good, blah, blah, blah. Like you had everything going your way. It was perfect. And then, just like any given Sunday, a team comes back, just like we saw earlier today with Miami and the Ravens. The only difference is this was an embarrassing display. Like, credit the Dolphins. Dolphins did what they needed to do. They came back and they ended up winning the game, right? The Ravens didn't lose the game, if that makes sense. Where the Raiders, they had the game won. You're right there. You have a great kicker. You're in the position. All you got to do is take care of the ball. And the Raiders did everything they could to lose that game, fumble it, and then allow the guy to go back, run all the way down, and score a touchdown to beat you. I mean, if that's not an embarrassing way to lose, and just the Raiders dump trucking this season, and it's just, come on. You're in the toughest division in football. You're in the toughest conference. The AFC is just insanely stacked. You need to win as many games as you can in a position of, like, you know, like, winnable games, right? This was a winnable game. This is a game you should have won from the beginning. You let them come back. You do a terrible display. Okay, you have the opportunity going to overtime. You get the stop. Great. You know, great stop. Although, you know, if the Cardinals if Hollywood Brown would have just caught the ball, like, you know, but credit to the Raiders in that moment. Boom, get a big hit, makes them drop the ball. You're in position. You get bailed out. You get bailed out again. You go down. You fumble the ball. You get bailed out. Like, you know, it's just, what else can you say? I mean, seriously, that was embarrassing. It's one thing to lose a game. It's one thing, you know, a team to come back. You know, like I said, I made a video earlier diving into the Dolphins and the Ravens game. You know, and I said, like, you know, it's embarrassing in the sense for the Ravens that was a winnable game that they should have won at home. That, you know, but at least they didn't beat themselves. You know, they didn't have a chance to win the game and just completely just drop the ball, literally. The Raiders at home should have won that game, and they did exactly what the Raiders always seem to do. They seem to just let the other team come back. They let the other team make the big play, and then they lose the game outright. And now you're 0-2 instead of starting 1-1 and being in a position that you're tied with everybody in your division outside of the Chiefs. Now you're the worst team in that division. You have no chance, no shot. I mean, the Chiefs are likely going to win that division regardless, because I really thought whoever won the Chargers-Chiefs game was going to win that division. Well, now you got the Chargers. There's no way you're catching the Chiefs. There's no way you're catching the Denver Seahawks. There's no way you're catching the Chiefs, and there's no way you're catching the Chargers. Although the Chargers, you know, who knows what happens, but they got a good veteran quarterback. They have two or three of their next 4 are very winnable games, even without Justin Herbert. And it's just, you're done. Your season's done. Like, that's just what it is, you know? And you had a real shot this was a very winnable game. This is a game that all you had to do was protect the ball, and you won the game. That was it. That's all you had to do. And you couldn't even do that. You did everything in your power to lose that game. That was a loss. The Cardinals didn't win that game. The Raiders lost that game. That's the difference. But you got to credit the Cardinals. Look, seriously, they stuck with it. They had an incredible second half. They kept the Raiders off the field, which was huge. I mean, going into overtime, when Derek Carr got the football, it was the first time in 30 minutes that he touched the football. Like, that's insane. And yes, maybe you can contribute some of the Raiders' lack of ball security as, like, you know, they were out of rhythm and stuff. But come on, you're professional. You know, you hold on to the ball. They were just smacking the ball, and every time they touched the ball, these receivers were just dropping it. But you know, Cardinals did a great job. They stuck with it. They worked their tail off. They got into it. Kyler Murray had that spectacular 2-point conversion where he basically ran to the other end zone, came back, ran back, came back, and then ran it into the end zone himself. And it was just like, what? Like, somebody get that guy. And he was able to get the 2-point conversion. Then they get the 2-point conversion at the very end. And you go in overtime, and they got it done. They did the job. You know, if Hollywood Brown would have caught that, it probably would have ended a lot sooner. But nonetheless, credit the defense for coming up with the stops, coming up with the fumbles. You know, like they almost got the first fumble, and they stuck with it. Boom, ended up getting the second fumble, and that's why a game's not over till it's over. You know, that's a big thing too, and that's what I was talking about in the Ravens game. Like, you see these teams, like, it happens a lot more in college than it does in professional, but still, nonetheless, like, just because you have like a 2 or 3 touchdown lead, I'm of the mindset of, like, you keep playing the game of football until you're up like 2 or 3 touchdowns with like a minute left or a minute and a half left. Basically, when you've gotten to the point where you've put them completely out of the game. You know, just because you're up 3 touchdowns with like a whole quarter left doesn't mean that you're in a position to win a game. Anything can happen, especially in today's NFL with these receivers, the way that the quarterbacks can throw the football, stuff like that. Like, 1 or 2 bad plays, 1 or 2 bad turnovers, and the game's over. You know, it's just, I don't know. It's just, credit the Cardinals. Absolutely. The Cardinals deserve all the credit in the world, but I think this was more of like the Raiders beat themselves rather than the Cardinals beat the Raiders. That's just me personally, but absolute embarrassment. I don't know what else to say. Like, that was just an embarrassing display of the game of football if you're the Raiders. Like, you know, and this is somebody that lives in Las Vegas. You know, I'm not the biggest Raider fan in the world, but nonetheless, still, you know, I this was a game that I was rooting for them. This is a game that I thought they would win. It's a game that they should have won, you know, and it's just, unfortunately, they didn't. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you think the Raiders are terrible? Think the Cardinals, you know, that they won this game? Do you think that, you know, the Raiders beat themselves? However you feel about the situation, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Let me know down in the comment section below. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.